begin the Christmas season together as we sing Joy to the World. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Come on, let's put our hands together. We will sing, sing, sing. Yeah. Joy to the world, joy to the world. Yeah. Oh, we will sing, sing, sing. Hey. Come on, sing joy to the world. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ. Rock fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. We will sing, sing, sing. Joy to the world. We will sing, sing, sing. And He rules. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of His righteousness, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love. We will sing, sing, sing. Oh, joy to the world. Hey. We will sing, sing, sing. Sing joyful, joyful, joyful. We adore Thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before Thee, opening to the Son above. Yes, we adore Thee, God of glory, oh Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before Thee, opening to the Son above. We will sing, sing, sing. Oh, joy to the world. Come on, let's give Him a shout of praise this morning. Hallelujah. Could have stepped into creation with fire for all to see, brought every tribe and nation to their knees, arriving with the host of heaven in royal robe and crown, the rulers of the earth all bowing down. But You chose meekness over majesty, wrapped Your power freedom. From cradle to the cross, let heaven and nature sing. This is our King, but the grave couldn't hold it. Our God is overcome. Let heaven and nature sing. This is our King. Come on. From heaven to the cradle, from cradle to the cross, let heaven and nature sing. This is our King, but the grave couldn't hold him. Our God is overcome. Let heaven and nature sing. This is our King. All hail the King. All hail the King. All hail the King. Glory be to you alone, King who reigns from the manger throne. My life, my praise, everything I owe to Jesus, the King on the manger throne. My life, my praise, everything I owe to Jesus, the King on a manger throne. To Jesus, the King on a manger In the morning that you rose, all of heaven held its breath, till that stone was moved for good, for the Lamb had conquered death. And the dead rose from their tombs, and the angels stood in awe, for the souls of all who come to the Father are restored. And the church of Christ was born. Then the Spirit lit the flame. Now this gospel truth of old shall not kneel, shall not faint. By His blood and in His freedom I am free. For the love of Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. Sing praise, sing praise, sing praise. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, oh praise forever to the King of Kings. Sing praise, praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Praise forever to the King of Kings. Oh, praise forever to the King of Kings. You may be seated.
As we journey through the season of Advent, a time of anticipation and preparation, we are reminded of the hope, the peace, the joy, and the love that Christ brings into our lives. The story you are about to hear reflects the essence of this season, how God's light shines through even the darkest times, and how His presence can transform our hearts in unexpected ways. May this testimony inspire us to embrace the Advent spirit of waiting in expectation for the fulfillment of God's promises. I grew up in a Christian home. I attended Christian schools, and I lived in West Michigan the majority of my life. I learned all the Christian behaviors, the Bible stories, the creeds, the traditions. I learned about the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. However, in my upbringing, very little was taught about the Holy Spirit. Other than that, we memorized the fruit of the Spirit, almost like that was supposed to help me with my morals and good behavior. My upbringing emphasized theology and doctrine, of which I'm very grateful for, knowing and intellect that should impact my behavior. However, I felt a disconnect in my faith between my head and my heart, a gap that I sensed was supposed to close, but I didn't know how. So I studied more, I tried to do better, and I tried to be better. As a classical ballet student, studying for a career, at the age of 16, I attended a summer ballet workshop that was led by a group of Christians. I witnessed, for the first time, people experiencing worship in a way that rattled my intellect. People were kneeling, they were raising their hands, they were clapping, and dancing freely in a way that I had never seen before. I felt uncomfortable, skeptical, and honestly, I was very critical too. I was like, no, not happening. Everyone was either showing off or being far too emotional. So after 2 weeks of watching critically with my arms crossed and my hands folded tightly, on the last night of the workshop, the Holy Spirit nudged me. Although at that moment, I did not recognize that as the Holy Spirit. I stepped out of my comfort zone of my intellect and I moved. And as I stepped nervously into this place, a picture of the children's hymnal that was in the front of my pew all my years growing up flashed through my mind. The picture of Peter stepping out of the boat into the storm and walking towards Jesus. That is what I felt like. I was afraid, so afraid. But I also had the smallest glimmer of faith. This began an awakening in my relationship with the Holy Spirit. Faith was greater than my intellect and my head knowledge and my behavior. However, through many years that followed, I experienced a lot of confusion, sadness, and even anger. I was deeply loyal to my roots, my family, my upbringing, and yet why was there so much confusion, so much division, and even absence of this conversation within the church around the role and the work of the Holy Spirit? Peace and clarity came to me when I was reading the book of John, one of the Gospels that talks a lot about the role of the Spirit for our life today. Jesus, during his final week of life, was talking to his disciples about leaving them, though they had no idea what he was referring to. He said, "It is good for you that I am going away. Unless I go away, the Holy Spirit will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you." John 16:7. I now rest knowing that Jesus has given me, has given you, us, the Holy Spirit to be present with us moment by moment and day by day. The Holy Spirit is working and awakening his people. My faith walk, your faith walk, isn't about our intellect or our physical effort, but rather it is empowered by the Holy Spirit, a fulfillment of Jesus' very own words, his promise.
Amen. As we just heard, God's work in our lives is both powerful and very personal. So for these next few moments, we're going to ask you just to take some time to reflect on how how we've experienced God's presence and his faithfulness in our own lives, whether quietly right there where you're sitting, or if you want to come up front to the altar and pray and reflect up here. Let's just open our hearts to hear from God as we take time to reflect right now. Glory be to you alone, King who reigns from a manger throne. My life, my praise, everything I own, to Jesus, the King on a manger throne. Glory be to you alone, King who reigns from the manger throne. My life, my praise, everything I own, to Jesus, the King on a manger throne. To Jesus, the King on a manger throne. To Jesus, the King on a manger throne.
Would you pray with me? Father, we just meet you here this morning, God, with hearts full of gratitude. God, with hearts that are so thankful for your faithfulness. God, in this season of expectation, when we're waiting to celebrate the birth of your Son, the Messiah, God, I just pray that in this season that we do not get stuck with our focuses on the world or in worldly routines, or God, sit with our arms crossed. God, I just pray that we all step into this season with our arms wide open and step into this invitation to draw near to you. God, we love you. Amen. Can we just praise a God who is near to us? Isn't that amazing? So amazing. Hey, here at Central, we strive to make sure everyone feels seen and known and feels a sense of belonging and community. We know it's important for the body of Christ to know who gathers and worships and alongside them. You know, and every week we do this Minute Mingle to provide an opportunity for you to meet some people or start a new community. Maybe some of us have been sitting in the same pews for a couple of years, maybe a decade, and don't know the names of the people around us. Would you commit this 60 seconds to meeting somebody new, someone maybe you've seen every Sunday for a while, but you don't know their name, and just step in and start building a new little community here on Sundays. Awesome. Again with the amazing Minute Mingle. I love this.
Almost a 2-minute mingle.
I mean, we might need to change this to a 2-minute mingle pretty quick here. You guys are totally into it, which we love. Hey, good morning. We are so glad that you are here. My name is Patty, and this is Jason.
Morning.
And we get to serve on staff here at Central. And we're really grateful that you're here with us this morning. Special welcome if you're watching online this morning as well. Hey, and if you're new here, there's a couple ways you can get connected. One of the ways you can get connected is out in the lobby. There's a big new here sign. You can't miss it. And that's just an opportunity for us to learn your name. You can learn about us, ask some questions about Central, maybe take a next step about getting involved or taking a class, things like that. And then there's another way you can also, I forgot. there's a free gift.
The gift.
If
It's
you're out in the
Christmas
lobby,
time.
there's
Come
a
on,
free
Patty.
gift. I can't forget that part. There's another way that you can get connected digitally, and so maybe you're not ready to talk face-to-face with someone, that's okay. We have our Connect card, and that's just another way for you to get connected with a real person, just not face-to-face. Learn a little bit more about Central. We can learn about you and answer any questions that you may have. And it's Christmas. There's a lot happening around here.
It is Christmas. It seems like we just got through Thanksgiving.
Because we did.
Because we did. I know, right? And now we're into Christmas. How about the lobby? Shout out to our facilities crew and volunteers. I love Christmas time, Patty. Like, awesome to sing Joy to the World. I mean, so what a cool season to celebrate Christ's birth. And obviously, it's a time with family and it's a time with friends, but it's also a really special time here at church too. And we always do a pretty big Christmas service. And so this year, Christmas Eve is the Christmas service, and there will be 2 services, one at 4 p.m., one at 6 p.m., right here in the worship center. You're not going to want to miss those. So invite your family, invite your friends. If you have a neighbor or you know someone, maybe at work, that maybe isn't gone to church in a while or isn't a believer, this would be a perfect opportunity to bring them to church. It'll be a very comfortable setting, but it'll just be an awesome time to worship. And so we're just super excited about it. So definitely check that out. You can also check that out online on our Central Happenings page. That will take you to a link that you can share with people to the Christmas Eve service, but also some of the other things that are happening too. And I know Christmas is a busy time here at church, but it's also a busy time in the missions department. Maybe you can give us a quick update, Patty, on some of the things you guys are doing.
Yes, it is a busy time. Missions is always busy, but Christmas is special, and we are so excited to be bringing back the We Love Holland Christmas program. And so you maybe have already seen the tree in the lobby. Maybe you've already gotten your tag off the tree. We've seen a little bit of that today, but we are so excited to have that back. We have over 100 families registered. Some of those are families that are connected through ministries here at Central, but a lot of them are from community partners and some of our neighbors in the community. So we're so thankful for that. And so you can go out to the tree in the lobby. I'll be standing there, and you can grab one of those red or green tags, and there's instructions on what to do with that when you buy your gift, when to wrap it, when to bring it back, things like that.
That's awesome.
But beyond that tangible thing that we can do to support people, we know our greater call is to be the hands and feet of Jesus in our community, in our world. And so on the back of that tag, there is an invitation for you to participate in our Christmas cookie decorating event where the families will be able to come pick up their gifts, things like that. Because being the hands and feet and sharing the gospel is what we are all about. That's why we do what we do, and we want you to be part of that. So we're just really thankful that you can join us in that this year.
That's awesome. You said Christmas cookies, and I got so distracted. I am so excited for Christmas cookies.
So many dozens of Christmas
I'm
cookies.
doing this diet where I can't eat sugar, though, so I don't know. We'll maybe have to take a pause on that. Focus, Jason. Okay, so because it's Christmas season, this is also a very important time for us from a budget perspective for the church. And so we rely on a lot of our giving to come in December, and that really sees us through the rest of the fiscal year, which ends in May. And so we are just thankful for your gift. We're thankful for you stewarding the tithes and offerings that God has called you to give. And just as a reminder, there's 3 ways to do that here at Central. You can do that in one of the giving kiosks out in the lobby. You can do that through the mail and just mail a check, or you can do that securely online through our giving portal. You can select different areas to give there. One of the areas that we want to focus this year-end giving on is our vision goal. So if you go online, you'll see vision goal. You can write that in the memo of your check. Our vision goal is our general expense fund plus some capital debt payment. And it's really the key area that supports all of these ministries here at church, from kids to facilities to keeping the power and lights on. And so that's an important piece for us as we go into the rest of this fiscal year. So thank you for your giving. We appreciate every single thing that you give, and God is using it to further his kingdom. So thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Pastor Adam Davidson to bring our message this morning as we start into a new series here in Advent season.
Night number 5,284. What does God see when he looks down at me? Probably just a shadow on these hills, if anything. But I guess King David was a shepherd. But I doubt God has a plan like that for me.
I really want to believe her, really I do. I mean, why would anyone make up such an outrageous story, where the only outcome is unthinkable shame? Lord, I want to do the right thing, but how can I explain this to our families?
The visitor was unbelievable, but at the same time, undeniable. Truly overwhelming.
For some reason, though, I still search the sky for some kind of direction.
How could I possibly be with child? And not just any baby, but the Son of the Most High God? Impossible.
If this is real, I need you to show me. Please.
I think we live in very confusing times. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how things are confusing right now. You look at how divided the world is politically. You look at how people are choosing sides and being very angry about what they believe. And they have found clarity in their world and in their little pocket of the world. But like compared to the rest of the nation, there's a lot of confusion as to who's on what side and what's what. We don't know what to think politically. You look at there's social isolation. We're really confused about like, how do we actually connect with each other and where do I belong and how do I fit in? How do I make this image on Instagram of my perfect life? And is that really even who I am? I don't even know who I am because I'm always projecting this version of myself onto the world. There's confusion there. There's confusion even when it comes to morals. We're faced with all of these moral dilemmas that we never really had to face before because so much is available to us. And it gets to the point where even our morals are subjected to really how we feel. It feels right, so I'll do that. It doesn't feel right, I won't do that. I got to figure out what's true for me. I think there's a lot of confusion in our world. And then to top it off, the Lions are winning. And it's like, what is going on in a world where the Lions could conceivably be to the Super Bowl? Lord, help us. Like, I'm waiting to wake up. Like, this has never happened before, literally. And then you look at what's happening even in our churches. Churches are going through a difficult transition right now, worldwide. And yet I believe that in all of this confusion, in all of the chaos of our world, because you got to understand how this whole thing started, right? Let's review long human history in a nutshell. Adam and Eve, these human beings created in the image of God, are sinless. They are perfectly connected to God, to each other, to creation, to themselves. Nothing is wrong. And then sin enters the world. Adam and Eve, in their incredible freedom, choose to run away from God. There's confusion on their hearts and minds, and they end up bringing total destruction to the world. Sin has entered the world, and we can only blame them so much because if they hadn't done it, their kids would have done it. If their kids hadn't done it, I would have done it, or you would have done it. Probably more me than you, but somebody would have blown it, right? So now we live in this world of great confusion, and yet God in his infinite just mercy and grace and compassion and desire to be connected to us and desire to rescue us. Even in our brokenness, God comes to us. All through the Old Testament, there's this prophecy of a coming Messiah. The Messiah will come. He will make all things new. He will bring renewal to all things. He will bring hope to the generations. He will bring salvation. There is healing in his hands. This Messiah will come in the most strange way, in the most strange place, and will surprise everyone by just how effective he is as a leader, as a king, as a ruler, and strangely, as a both priest and sacrifice. The Old Testament was talking about Jesus, saying very clearly, there's something coming. We're going to make this right. But until then, look to me, trust me, says Yahweh, follow me. I will show you the way. And so then you see passages like Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. That's like clear. I get that. Or you look at Psalm 119, 105. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light for my path. You ever walked on a dark path before? On a dark path, you've got this lamp or this lantern, this light, and if it's completely dark, all you can see are the 1 or 2 or 3 steps in front of you. That's all you got, but that's all you need. The scripture, the word, God has spoken in the Old Testament, and he speaks this word of Advent, which means coming, which means the Messiah will come. And so there's this great confusion in the world, and even great confusion in the people of God, and great confusion in the chaos of the mess, of the lack of peace, what we are experiencing as new as it seems, is really not that new. Human history keeps cycling over and over and over and over again. So I would submit to you, dear friends of Central, that the Advent season, these 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, can go one of two ways. You ready? Here are your options. Option one, you just go, that was a nice Christmas service. I like that song. Oh, they got candles. That's cool. I like the couch thing. What's going on over here? Are people going to sit in that? I don't know. I'll have to keep coming back. Oh, Christmas Eve. That's cool. We should come to that. Get a thing off the tree. That'll be great. There's one way to do it. Nothing wrong with that. We're glad you're here. Come as you are, right? But there's another way to do this. Church, hear me. There's another way to do this. There's another way to handle these next 4 Sundays. There's another way to handle this moment right now. And it looks like this. We lean in. And we say, God, I live in a world that is confusing. I'm experiencing some level of confusion, some level of doubt, some level of fear, concern. I don't know what to do. I need your help. I need your guidance. I need your direction. Because if I'm really honest, I've got some fear. I've got some terror inside of me because I'm not really sure what's going to happen with my job, with my kids, with my marriage, with my health, with my extended family. I don't even know how Christmas is going to go. I just saw how Thanksgiving went, God, and I don't know how Christmas is going to go. And you are desperate for God to stir in you, or you are so spiritually bored it's not even funny, or you're wondering how would God get into this mess and bring unity? How would God get into my lack of peace and bring peace? How would God somehow be born in me today? If you are in that boat, which I would submit to you, all of us are in some way, shape, or form, I would say to you this: lean in and say, God, I am hungry for you to do something in my life. I long for you to stir the still, murky, gross, disgusting, stagnant water of my soul and bring something new. Because I am desperate for you to move in my life like never before. And we sing songs about Jesus being born in a little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. But then we sing that line in that old carol, we say, be born in us today. And you'd say, I've been following Jesus for a long time, but I'm ready for him to do something new. Or, I've been following Jesus for so long that I've kind of lost interest and I've kind of lost my way and he needs to do something new in me and he's been telling me and I haven't been listening. Or, I'm far from God. I don't even know what you're talking about. I thought I was just supposed to come to church. I need to know what's next. Guess what? Lean in. Because I believe that if we show ourselves to be hungry and thirsty for God, hungry and thirsty for righteousness, that God will stir the waters in our soul like never before, and he will come and bring a clarity to our confusion that we've never experienced. And he doesn't fix everything. That comes at the very end in the second advent when Jesus returns. But right now, he's fixing little pieces here and there, here and there, here and there. And I believe that you bring all of the confusion of your life, all of your confusion about where you stand, how things are going, who God is, how he's moving, even confusion about the deeper issues, that soul stuff. You bring those things to this place right now because here you are. Look to the person next to you and say, here you are. Don't forget you're here. Tell them, don't forget you're here. What if today, Central, what if today was a day where we said, all right, God, I'm ready. I'm hungry. Do you want God to break into your world today? Do you want God to come and stir in your life today? Are you hungry for God to do something new? Are you looking for a spiritual food that will feed the deepest parts of you in ways that nothing else could? Are you thirsty for righteousness? Are you longing for hope? Are you aching for peace? Are you looking for some kind of majesty in the mess? Are you ready to give up? Don't, because here you are. So church, let's lean into this moment. I'm going to do it. You going to join me? You going to join me on this? Okay. Let's go a step further. At the end of the message, you got 27 minutes to know this is coming. We're going to spend some time praying down here as we already did. So this is a 27-minute call to prayer. You ready to go? You ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. I'm ready for it. You guys ready for it? Okay, here we go. Let's pray. Father, we need your help. We need your spirit to help us even be hungry for the things we should be hungry for. We're longing for you to stir in our world. We feel this confusion, this angst, these questions. We know that you bring clarity. We know that you speak, and we long for you to speak today, Lord. So instead of being a passive observer of this moment, we want to be active and lean into you in your presence and say, we are hungry for you to do something. We don't have to have it all figured out. We don't need to see the whole thing. We just need to know the next step, Lord. So we're hungry for it. We're thirsty for it. Bring it in Jesus' name. And the people said, scale of 1 to 10, how was Thanksgiving? I hear a 10. Any 5s? I hear food poisoning, I thought I just heard in the room. I have a question. When is it right to throw the leftovers away? 7 days. Leftovers go for 7 days at your house? Did we throw them away yet? Okay, I think we're going to today, because turkey gets weirdly slimy. Like the leftover turkey meat becomes like the neck of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of gross. Brittany, my wife, made these incredible pumpkin pie things where I think you maybe saw it on Instagram or something. She takes a cup and she like jams it into this existing perfect pumpkin pie, which has the finish on it of an ice rink. You know how pumpkin pie glitters? It's just beautiful. And she goes, boom, and she lifts it out, and she comes up with this perfect cylinder of pie with like a perfect crust on the bottom and the pie filling. And then she takes and she like puts caramel and whipped cream and stuff on it. That's pretty much it, right? Did I just give away a family recipe? And so she made like 6 of these. So we started eating those. And the thing about pumpkin pie, I'm getting all excited about it, is you can't stop eating it. Even though it's a vegetable, you can't stop. And so that was all gone. It was gone. I love pumpkin pie. Love it, love it, love it. How many of you love pumpkin pie? All right, how many of you not yet Christians? I'm just kidding. How many of you would eat pumpkin pie without whipped cream? Without whipped cream? How many of you think I can't eat pumpkin pie without whipped cream? Yeah, see, I already hear the Lord's moving. No. So left over in our fridge after all those cylinders of pie were consumed, drizzled with the glory of the Lord, right? All those cylinders. Guess what we had in our kitchen, in our refrigerator? A pie with a bunch of holes drilled in it. Now, I'm not above eating that. In fact, I'm not above putting whipped cream on the whole thing, sitting in a dark room and eating it. I did that. It was so good. It was like pumpkin pie soup casserole. It was like a KFC famous bowl, but pumpkin pie. It was so good. So now Thanksgiving is done. Now we move on to the next thing. Now we have to step into a story that we may know actually too well. And what this does for us is it makes it so that we may not be ready to really see what God is doing. So are you ready to see what God is up to in a story that you're all too familiar with? No, not yet? Okay, take a second. It's so important that we see a story that we know really well with new eyes, and God can help us do that. So that's part of this hunger. You're saying, all right, God, we've moved on past Thanksgiving. We're in this season of Christmas, of Advent. I need you to help me see what you got to say to me. Let's pray that as we look at the scripture together. Turn to Luke 1:26. Her name is Mary. She's an average girl in a small town, and her life is about to change. And you probably know the story of Mary, the mother of Jesus. You probably know the world that she lived in, the world of what we would call the Old Testament, that she's waiting for the promised Messiah. You probably know that her cousin, her relative Elizabeth, is pregnant. So we see Mary in that part of the story early in the Gospel of Luke. And you probably know what the angel Gabriel is about to say to her, but she doesn't. She doesn't yet know. We're going to read Luke's account of this conversation between Mary, an average woman from a small town who has found favor in God's eyes, and the angel Gabriel, a messenger of God. Luke 1:26. In the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a town in Galilee, to a virgin pledged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of David. The virgin's name was Mary. The angel went to her and said, could you read this part out loud? You be the angel voice, okay? Here we go. Greetings, you who are highly favored. The Lord is with you. Okay, pause right there. So let's review. Mary's in a little town nobody's heard of, away from the big population. Mary's an average girl. She's probably a believer of some type. She's probably followed Yahweh, comes from a Jewish family. She's a very committed person. When it comes to her spirituality, she's a person of character. She's a person who, for whatever reason, has been chosen by God to play a key role in our salvation. Now, it's not that Mary plays a role in paying for our salvation or making it possible. That's why we don't pray to Mary. Only Jesus does that. However, we do look to Mary as, wow, there's an example of an average person like you or me being used by God to do something incredible. And this is exactly what's about to happen. There she is, just hanging out. She's betrothed. She's engaged, but with like a contractual engagement. She's set up to be married to this guy named Joseph. Joseph is from the line of David, a son of David. Those two are going to get married. And everybody in town is talking about the new couple on the block. Mary's just living her life, doing her thing, probably doing her best to follow God and his commands and live a holy life. And an angel shows up and says, hi. Greetings, you who are highly favored. The Lord is with you. Have you ever wished that God would come to you and just tell you what to do? Have you ever wished that God would show up in a dream or a vision or like in the clouds? Have you ever wished that, you're facing a very difficult decision? Do I do A or B? X or what? Do I go here or here? Do I take this job? Do I marry this person? Do I go to this school? Do I take this class? Whatever. You're saying, if only God would show me. I looked everywhere in the Bible, and there's not a single word about whether I should do pre-engineering or pre-medical, like that kind of stuff. Like where you're trying to really settle in and honor the Lord, but you just don't know. And so you wish that God would show you. You may have even asked him to, which is a good question to ask. Mary's not necessarily asking for it. At least we don't have recording of her saying, I wish that the Lord would reveal to me what his will for my life is. The angel just shows up. So she's getting something that you and I have probably longed for before. If only God would send me a message. It doesn't even have to be an angel, Lord. You could write it on the whiteboard in our kitchen, in the night, like an elf on the shelf creepy type thing, and I would listen to it, The angel comes and gives Mary a message. And look at his setup. Greetings. Hi. You who are highly favored, you who are chosen by God, the Lord is with you, Emmanuel. So when an angel comes, it's not God, but it is a messenger of God who has been sent to bring a very specific thing, including a reminder of the presence of a holy God for an average person. How would you respond? Now, the thing is, when you think of angels, you probably think of those like cherubic, stuff you'd see in like an art museum or something, or like those pillows and coffee cups your grandma had with the big fat baby angels on it and stuff. Angels throughout the Old Testament are actually frightening creatures. So Mary responds to this message. We don't know what the angel looked like, probably at least approachable. His name's Gabriel. And we don't know exactly how awkward this moment was. We can assume it might have been at least a little bit, but it certainly has Mary's attention because the angel's there and Mary's there. How does Mary respond to this? If an angel came to you and said, guess what? I got a message for you from God. You'd say, lay it on me. I want to write this down. Bring it to me. Give it to me. No, the scripture says that she was greatly troubled. Say troubled. She's agitated. She's stirred up. She's worried about what's going to happen next. She wondered what kind of greeting this might be. See, not only is Mary a woman of character and spiritual strength, she's also very wise. She knows throughout the Old Testament, which is what we call it now, that anytime an angel shows up, anytime God sends a message, anytime God comes into our world, something's going to change. Something's going to be different, because when God moves, he's not just playing golf. He's not just hanging out. God has a plan and a purpose that far exceeds anything that we could ever imagine. And his purpose and his plan is to bring about salvation to the world, to all who would believe. And so anytime God steps into someone's life, it's because they have found favor. Not necessarily that God loves them more, but that God sees in them a certain character, a certain quality, that they can play a key role in this grand salvation story. Mary has found favor with God. But Mary's smart, y'all. She knows if I'm being, greeted by an angel, something's about to get stirred up. She's troubled. She's agitated. How does the angel respond to that? He says, do not be afraid. You have found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Jesus. Now, isn't that great, by the way? Have you ever stressed over what to name your baby? No problem here. The angel's like, let me save you some trouble. We're going to go with Jesus. Now, it wasn't like Brad or Cooper or even Bradley Cooper, some average name that just came out of my mind right now. The name Jesus is extremely meaningful. It's Joshua. It's Yeshua. It means God saves. And so for the angel to say, you're going to call him Jesus, even from that name, Mary knows, okay, we're dealing with something different here. Not only am I going to somehow conceive and give birth to a son, I know his name. Thanks for that, angel. And you're going to call him Jesus. And she's thinking to herself, I know what that means. That's Yeshua. That's from the Old Testament. And then the angel goes on to talk about Jesus. He will be great. He'll be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give him the throne of his father David. Remember how Joseph is from the line of David? Even Jesus' stepdad has influence in his life. Remember that, blended families. And he will reign over Jacob's descendants forever. His kingdom will never end. So the angel is like, it's about to get good, because the promised Messiah is finally coming to pass. You've lived in the chaos, confusion, and lack of clarity for too long. Here we go. God's moving on his next step, and you get to play a part in it. If you heard that, put yourself in Mary's shoes for a minute. What are you thinking to yourself? Wait, what? Do you think that Mary had any guess that something like this was coming down the pike for her? Do you wonder if Mary wondered, why me? Do you think that maybe Mary in that moment was like, I don't mean to make angels look bad, but does he know that I'm Mary and not like Meredith? Like, did he get the name mixed up? Did they write it down wrong? Or does this angel not know that I'm betrothed? Does this angel not realize where I'm at in my life? Mary has the awe and the respect and the reverence to realize she's talking to a messenger of God, but she also has the burden of knowledge, knowing that when God steps in, things get all stirred up, and we find a certain kind of clarity, but then there's a greater level of confusion. And so Mary experiences confusion. Look at what she asks in Luke 1:34. She says, how will this be, since I'm a virgin? Mary is spiritually deep, but she's also biologically wise. She knows how it works, and she knows that it hasn't happened. She's engaged. She's betrothed. It's a legal binding contract. She's supposed to marry Joseph, and though we don't know a ton about them, we can make assumptions about their character and desire to serve the Lord and honor him. We'll see that next week in Joseph's story. And what we can assume is that Mary has been trying to do this right from the get, and all of a sudden, what the angel is telling her is that, yeah, things are changing. We're taking a different path. And Mary's going, wait, so how am I going to, that can't happen. I can't be pregnant. So I have a question. How's this going to work? How will this be? She might even be saying, what did I miss here? And then the angel gives clarity. The angel says it's going to be the Holy Spirit. It's going to be an operation of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit will come on you. The power of the Most High will overshadow you. Because here's the thing, church, and hear me in this. When God calls you to a process, he will give you the power to carry out his will. Because Mary had to be thinking, how in the world am I supposed to deal with this? She needs power. She needs the call and she needs the power. She needs to know not only what's happening next, but how am I going to pull this off? Because this puts Mary in a very awkward position. Think about the conversations that Mary had to have with her parents. Just think about this for a minute. Put yourself at the family of Mary kitchen table. She goes over to the house. She knocks on the door. Mom and Dad, Mary, hello, come in. And Mary comes in. They go sit at the kitchen table. They have their chats like they always do. How's my girl? How's Joseph doing? You guys are about a year away. How's that whole thing going? And she says, Mom, Dad, I got something I got to tell you. Think about that conversation. And think about Mary's parents. We don't know much about them, but we do know that they were probably people of the same character and spiritual depth as Mary. And so think about hearing your daughter say this. Your daughter that you have known to do the right thing over and over and over again. Not perfect. She's still a human being. She still sins, but she gets it right. And think about this conversation. Think about the words that are coming out of your daughter's mouth to you. Mom, Dad, I'm pregnant. First thing Mom and Dad think, Joseph. She says, it's not Joseph. Then Mom and Dad think the worst. It's somebody else. You're cheating. She says, it's not somebody else. And then Mom and Dad go, well, I would love to hear, because now Mom and Dad are thinking, probably, at least I would, you're lying. Why are you not telling us the truth? And then Mary says, he's the Son of God. Is that the best you could come up with, Mary? Like, really? He's the Son of God. I'm telling you, an angel came, Gabriel, and I was troubled, and he told me what's going to happen and how and why, and I said yes. Mary, come on. We're your parents. You can be honest with us. You can tell us the truth. Mary says, I am telling you the truth. Now, I'm making all this up, but I just imagine perhaps how it went. And then her parents have to say, you need to go tell Joseph. What's Joseph going to say? Over to Joseph's house. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, baby. That's not what Joseph said. But let's just pretend. Joseph, I need to tell you something. I'm having a baby. Joseph knows. He knows biology. He's going, you're not having my baby. I know that's true. Whose child is this? It's the child of God. Child of God. I just think that was a really awkward decision, a really awkward position that God put Mary into. This is an important thing to consider when it comes to really opening your life to God, because when you say to God, use me, do as you will, you realize that you are signing up for things to be so different that even the people closest to you may not get it. Right? So Mary asks this question. I don't understand how this is going to work. I'm a virgin. The angel answers, the Holy One will be born, to be born in you will be called the Son of God, so tell your parents. And then the angel does a very helpful thing and cites an example from her own family. Mary's cousin Elizabeth is pregnant. You go back to earlier parts of Luke, and an angel comes to Zechariah and says, guess what? You and your wife are going to have a baby. And Zechariah, an older man, wisely says, how are we going to have a baby? I'm old, and my wife is along in years. That's what it says in the scripture. Smart man. Almost had to buy some flowers after that potential slip up. And the angel says, well, God's going to make it happen. And then that's where we get John the Baptist. Mary knows that story. Mary has been watching the baby bump. Mary knows this is coming. And Elizabeth is like, it's God, it's the Lord, I'm telling you. So the angel is like, do you see how God was faithful over here in this situation, this family situation that you are well acquainted with because you've been praying about it with them for years and years and years, and finally God has moved. Do you see how God was faithful? So the angel says, even Elizabeth, your relative's going to have a child in her old age. Angels can call people old. There's no offense there. And she who was said to be unable to conceive, that's Elizabeth in her 6th month, she got the baby. She's 6 months along. And then the angel says the most critical component to this whole thing, in terms of the angel's side, the angel says, no word from God will ever fail. No word from God will ever fail. No word from God will ever fail. That is the ultimate, top, pinnacle promise. He's going to get this. If God says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's not like parents when you're driving, your kids are on, you're like, I'm going to turn this car around. No, you're not. Or then you have to, then you got to turn it back around again and you're 20 minutes late. You're not the only one that drove to a family thing this weekend. Come on. When God says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. So Mary's just been told everything's about to change. Your life turned upside down. You were confused about something. We gave you some clarity there. It's going to be a Holy Spirit thing. Any questions? And this is what Mary says. And let's recite these words together. Luke 1:38. Here we go. I am the Lord's servant, Mary answered. May your word to me be fulfilled. Then the angel left her. Why did the angel leave her? That's all he needed to say. That was the whole message. That was the whole thing. Mary says, I am the Lord's servant. So if you were to take Mary's process and you were to map it out on a napkin, scribble it out on your favorite notebook, however you'd like to do this, this is what it looks like. Mary's just living her normal everyday life. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Angel shows up with a message. Mary is confused. How will this be? And the angel says, here's clarity on the plan. But Mary's still confused. Wait, I'm a virgin. What are you talking about? Angel gives clarity on the promise. No word from God will ever fail. And then what does Mary say? Let it be to me as you've said. I am the Lord's servant. You would think that this would be a message about how to find clarity on God's plan for your life. And if you assume that God will somehow reveal to you every single step as if unfolding a blueprint, almost getting your permission as to whether it's okay for you to be in that position by God's hand, if you think he's going to show you everything, no. And if you're waiting till that moment before you say yes, no. How many of you played Lego? Tony, can you come help us for a second? Think about this. Welcome, Tony, first of all. Here, hold that up, and we're going to stand in one spot. We're going to stand right here in the middle. Come over here for a little bit more. Okay, Tony's part of our student ministry. He's in our youth group. Aren't you glad we have students here, high school students, middle school students? Aren't you glad? You are glad. Balcony, you're glad too that they're here. Okay, so can you hold that up, right? Whatever one they put on. Okay, so this is a Bowser thing right here. Okay, that's Bowser. Bowser, anything to say? That's what I thought. Okay, so that's what you're going to build with this Lego kit, right? Even if you've never played Lego, you get it. You have a big bag of parts and pieces, and you're supposed to build that thing. Now, what if I said to you, what if I gave you all the pieces, but I took this from you and I said, Tony, go ahead and build it. Would you be able to do it? Maybe as long as I had the picture. Lots of confidence. I like that. But would you get it just right? Probably not. So now open up to the first few pages. What does the Lego instruction book do? Hold that up for them. Hold that up for the crew. What does it show you? Turn page again. Show them another random page. What's it showing you? One step at a time. Can you imagine if it was like, best of luck, this is what's happening, you're going to build Bowser? We'd never get it right. The Lego people give you a picture of one step at a time. Make sense? Now, what does God do? If he illuminates the path for your life with his word, he's illuminating usually one step at a time. Does that make sense? The angel doesn't say to Mary, hey, this is what's going to happen. She finds out more as it goes on, but think about how stressful it was for Mary at the cross watching her son get crucified. Think about how bizarre it was to watch your son die and then raise again on the third day. Think about how bizarre it was for your son to say to John, hey, this is Mary's your mom and you're her son now. Would you even sign up for that? I wouldn't. God in his grace gives us one step at a time. Give Tony a hand. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. One step at a time. So now, church, look at this little handy-dandy chart. Let me tell you how this has worked out in my life. I could give you 3 or 4 examples. Let me give you one. I was on ministry sabbatical, 20 years in full-time ministry, leading a church, doing all different stuff, and I got to take a break. We'd both lost our spouses, and Brittany and I had just gotten married, and it was time to just rebuild our family. And that was my ministry. That was my church, as it always is. This is my family. That's number one for me. And so we're looking for a church to go to, and we know Hannah and Ethan Lamp and others who went to Central Wesleyan, and so we said, let's go to Central. That's a nice big church. I can blend into the back. And we came to this church starting in 2022, and we sat right back there. We always wanted to sit back there and watch the cool stuff at Paul's soundboard and the graphics and stuff. We just sat back there. And I spent 20 years in ministry and didn't feel released from it and wasn't kicked out of it. I just was like, I wonder if I could try something else for a little while. So we were going to open an insurance agency, or we were going to flip some houses, or we were just going to do business things. And that was my intent. I was like, Lord, I just want to try something else. And that was the plan. So we're sitting there, not intending to work here at all. And long story short, over time, the Lord was like, message, right? The second thing on the deal. And so I am troubled by this, because this is not going to sound good, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I didn't want to work here. I just wanted to go to church here. I don't want to know how the sausage is made. I just want to enjoy the sausage. You know what I'm saying? And so I said, this sounds bizarre. I was actually bummed. I just wanted to go to church here and, do that thing we plan on doing, getting the business going, whatever. Okay. But I was still confused. Yeah, but these people don't know me from Adam, which is a funny joke if your name is Adam. And it was the Lord just saying, no, remember the promise. Remember how I called you back when you were 13? Remember that? You think you're set free from that? Ha, 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 says the Lord, which is my translation, but that's pretty much how it felt. No, you're still on, my man. Okay. And I said, let's go. I didn't know the whole thing. I didn't sit back there and think, okay, in a couple years I'll be up there holding the mic, big Santa beard, whatever. I didn't see this moment where I'd be holding up a Lego book. Well, you'd be holding up a Lego book for me and talking about how awesome Lego were. I thought we were just going to come to church here. And the Lord said, here's your next step. Church. That's the problem with asking God to move in your life. So if you really want God to move in your life, you better be very careful. You're playing with fire, Bowser fire. You're throwing gasoline and matches all over the place. Because if you're serious about God using you, if you're serious about playing a part in his kingdom and salvation, if you're serious about getting tired of the confusion and needing clarity, I have good news for you. God has given you everything that you need, and he may not unroll the whole thing in one fell swoop. He might give you a vision or an idea, but he has definitely revealed to more of us than we realize the next step. All Mary did was take the next step. And so now we come to this moment in the service where we're going to sing about the goodness of God and sing, all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Mary knows that song. It's what gave her the courage to trust that no word from God will ever fail. You have that courage too. So here we go. Next step, let's go to prayer. We're going to sing a little bit. I'm going to go down here at one of these spots to kneel. We have a lot of space up here, and I think that God is calling you to your next step. I don't know what it is. I just think he's stirring things up at Central, and I think that this is not going to be a typical Advent for us. I think God is doing a new thing, and that he's inviting you to be part of it, and he's just waiting for you. He's saying to you, hey, greetings. You who are highly favored, Lord is with you. And you might be troubled by that and say, no thanks. I want you to lean in. Even ask questions. Bring your confusion. Because this is how God clarifies the world. Eventually, he'll make everything right. But right now, what he wants to do is make sure that you and I are clear on where we stand. And I want to be like Mary. I want to be like all the heroes of the faith who didn't know everything, but said to God, let it be to me according to your will. I believe no word from you will ever fail. I had conversations with people first service saying, I know God was talking to me about my job situation. I know God was talking to me about my child. I know God was talking to me about this or that. So if you're in that place right now, that's what this moment is for. Don't put it off. Today's the day. Come forward. If you're ready, if you want, you don't have to. But let's just seek the Lord and submit to him. And we'll sing for a few minutes, then I'll pray, and then we'll just see how God leads. But would you come? Let's stand together. I'm going down here to pray. Join me. Let's sing a little bit. We'll go from there.
'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Come on, let's sing that again this morning. That all my life you have been faithful. Oh, you have. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. We sing one more time. All my life, that all my life you have been faithful. Oh, I know you have. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
What happens when a church pulls a Mary and just says, here I am. May it be to me according to your will. What happens? Some of us are waiting to know what it is we're signing up for. Here's the answer. It's really clear. We're signing up to say, God, I trust you. I've seen your goodness in the past. I've seen your faithfulness. I want you to stir in my life, and I'm ready to commit to whatever that is. And I know you'll reveal to me the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, as I need to know. So God, bring clarity to your people. Open our eyes that we might see your tender, loving Father's heart that just longs to draw us close and use us for your glory and your plan in this story. Lord, help us to trust you with the things that we hold onto on our own, to release these things from you. Help us to leave these things at your feet and to face the awkward conversations with your power, to face the unknown moments with your grace, to face the questions, not with the confidence of a clear answer on that, but a confidence on who you are and that you are with us. You are God with us. Lord, draw your church. Draw us to you today. We want to give our lives to you. Give everything we have to you, Lord. We have lived in the goodness of God. Let's sing some more as we pray. I love you, Lord.
'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, we declare that all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Oh, I know that your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. So I can see that all my life you have been faithful. In every moment, all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yes, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Oh, come on, can we celebrate his goodness this morning? Well, hey, thank you so much for coming and worshiping with us. And don't forget to join us next week for week 2 of our Presence series. Be blessed, and we'll see you then.